Oh man.
In fact, this video is brought to you by all the shit that we own because no one is sponsoring us yet.
Nope.
That's right.
So,
It's brought to you by us motherfuckers.
exactly.
This video is brought to you by the ad that YouTube is going to put on this video.
Right, that we won't see a nickel of. But
Nope.
yes, we actually also are not kidding. This I'm absolutely recording. So what's going on, everybody? I'm Chris.
I'm Julian. Sorry. Shit.
Yeah.
Fucks.
That's how this is gonna go.
Yeah,
One more time. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we're gonna keep going like this for too.
Yep.
Like I don't know how to edit, so thank you guys so very much for watching. If you listen to our podcast, Let's All Geek Out. Like this is what we look like. So unless you've seen us on Twitch, in which case, not a huge surprise. So
Yep. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah.
With this, you know what I mean? I know I got a good, sexy voice, but the face doesn't quite match.
Yeah. Like you're stealing my bit, dude. That's not cool.
Well,
Yeah, I probably look exactly how I sound. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the crazy part about ever since I started podcasting and doing vidcasting and all that stuff is when I listen or watch myself again, I'm like, oh my God, that's why I'm still single. This is all one giant. No.
Yeah.
That's just God's mistake right here. So we're supposed to be talking
but
about
now
video
that
games,
we're
right?
on YouTube,
Yeah.
now that we're on YouTube,
Yeah.
nowhere to go but up from here, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're getting exposed to the masses.
That's what they say.
So
We're gonna go ahead and put Chris's number in the description below.
Yeah.
So go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Swipe right when you find them on Tinder
right.
or Grinder. I don't know what you're into. It's fine. Either one.
It's like
Just-
I'm on
just
Bumble.
swipe.
I'm on Bumble. Thank you very much. Yeah.
The fuck is? It's not good.
Yeah. So actually, we could do a whole bit on Bumble for it too, real quick. Why not?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to enlighten me. What is? Bumble?
It is like a Tinder thing where you swipe left or right for too, but they do give the power to the women too. So if I swipe right on a woman and she also swipes right on me, she gets to then initiate the conversation then for you. So at no point can I ever make any sort of effort other than just saying like I like you and would you like to chat. So if she swipes right and it's like again maybe it's like by accident, they have the opportunity then to then be like, okay, never mind. And they have 24 hours.
I was drinking. I didn't know what I was doing last night. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So they have 24 hours then to initiate the conversation, and if they, and then from that point on, it's just good luck. But if we both swipe right and she decides that no, I'm not interested, then it just goes away and that's it. It's done. So it does make it quite a bit safer for women too. So that way they don't
Yeah, that's cool.
if it turns out like the guy's a creep or something like that for it too, or in the cases of an accidental swipe, they have a way to get out of it too.
It's a Tinder for nice guys.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, man. I remember back in the day, I'd be on that, and it's like swiping. I'm like, man, I sure hope she swipes back because she seems really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's still totally that for me too. Like every time I swipe on a woman, I'll be like, oh, she seems really cool, and then you just like swipe, and then you just wait. You just like I have a phone right here. I don't need a pantomime. I just be like, any second, she's gonna see my profile.
Here she comes.
Yeah, she's gonna see that I cook and play video games. I'm
gonna call my mom right now and tell her about this.
Yeah. I think she's the one. I do. Oh, this is making me sound so sad.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's not like your profile is like I've already called my mom to tell her about
But
you. Right?
yeah, that is true. Yeah, it is just that I like video games. I don't know what sports is, and I can cook. That is basically my profile.
Hey, I mean, one of those things is a big thing for women, man. Like cooking and as a whole, like if you can cook something more than pasta, like you are a fucking winner.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I've met plenty of people that are like, oh, you want me to cook you dinner? Like, what do you want? Well, I don't know, cook up some steaks, asparagus, or something like that. They're like, what? Like they're going to the fucking 5-star steakhouse or something. I'm like, this is a normal meal.
Yeah.
I only know how to make broke ass people meals, so
I would say like for
butter noodles.
Oh, good. That's good.
Hey, butter noodles with a little bit of garlic salt on there, and just like a. Never mind, I'm not gonna eat it. But
no, like that's it. Like I did that before. That was like during like my fat period where that all I ate was just carbs and sugar for it too. I absolutely did butter noodles with Parmesan cheese and garlic on it.
Eat.
Yeah, but also I don't have a metabolism though.
Yeah,
I've never had butter noodles before. I didn't even know
I've never had to struggle for food.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing. When I met my wife, we were talking about food and stuff like that. I was cooking and impressing her, like I was talking about right now, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we used to eat like butter noodles," and I'm like, "What the fuck is a butter noodle?"
Yeah,
it's like it's a noodle with butter.
Yeah.
The fuck is this, dude? I was like, "You eat it." I mean, I'm interested to try it, right?
It tastes exactly like it sounds. It tastes like noodles with butter for it. Like if you want to get a little fancy with it too, you add in the garlic powder, or you add in like a little bit of cracked pepper on it too, or some parsley or rosemary. But yeah, for like $1.99, you got a meal right there.
Bam! I like butter. I like noodles. Put them together.
Yeah,
bam!
Perfect, man.
Yeah,
a little bit of seasoning makes everything awesome.
Oh yeah. So that has been the one nice thing about doing like these cooking streams too, which link for me is right there. Is it has gotten me to try a lot more different spices. Yours, Kyle, is actually if you just lift your left hand up. Right there. And Julian does not have one because Julian is eventually going to get like at some point you will get a Twitch channel.
He's just like
yeah. You're just like advertising for us. Just do that.
You can go ahead and put the social media for the podcast around me, and I will just point at those.
That will be in the description box down below because I forgot to do that. A smarter man would have thought of that.
Yeah.
But
be like, Instagram?
Yeah. No, my Instagram's right there. I don't know what you're talking about. Right there.
Follow for follow.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Fuck.
I remember that shit. I remember when I first started streaming too. I fell for that. Like, but no, like I was so doing the cooking streams, like especially like the stuff I made for Thanksgiving too, where I was having to make a spice mixture of rosemary, orange peel, and lemon rinds, and you just bake the whole thing. So that way you actually like crisp them up, and then you put them in a mortar and you start like to mash it. I was like, I felt like an alchemist. It was like, it's like I bring you life, you bring me food.
So they're just grinding.
Yep.
Don't worry, I got what'll make you feel better. Hold on. Just put this paste on you. Like the Lion King just right across the forehead.
Yeah.
Simba.
In this case, biscuits.
Essential oils.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My God. So this is a video game vidcast, right? And
yeah.
We have
at some point.
Yeah, we've been at this for like 7 minutes now too, and yeah, I don't think we've talked about a single video game yet. And we have topics actually too to kind of go over.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
surprise.
But
let's do it.
But for everybody out there, like again, we do have a podcast. Let's all geek out. Link is down below. But we also want to start branching out a bit more for too, because it takes our editor Terry about a week to post everything, and that can take a while. And sometimes when we post up, especially like news or updated new games that have come out, it's already old news by the time you guys have heard it. So we figure we can do these more unfiltered, more uncensored versions of our podcast where Terry can't take out me saying shit and fuck all the time. And also be able to talk about stuff a bit more up to date for too, because we'll record this and I immediately post this up on YouTube until we start realizing that we need to get a video editor too.
Yep.
So
and if you like the first 7 minutes of this video, then the podcast is literally an hour to an hour and a half of this.
Yeah.
We may have a topic, but we may or may not touch on it.
We'll briefly mention it, but then we'll start talking about Hubie Halloween or something.
Don't you dare!
Don't even bring it here.
Don't you dare!
You know, let's just play
late.
clip from that right now.
Yeah.
It's already happened. Running joke. Go check out the podcast.
Because exactly right for that.
All of October.
Yep.
And into November.
Into November, yeah. Including our December vidcast, our first one we bring it up too. Like
Hubie Stays Christmas. Okay.
That's
it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So first topic that we have. So Universal Studios did show off their first trailer for Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios in Tokyo.
Yes.
What did you guys think of that?
I'm excited. I'm not going to get to it probably ever, but but I'm excited the fact that it's coming soon so I can at least have something to dream about.
Yeah.
So.
No, definitely, man. I think it looks super clean. You know what I mean? They put a lot of attention to detail, especially that overview shots that I seen of like the whole park. It looks like it's just ripped right out of Super Mario 3D World.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks great.
So yeah, so they showed off the Mario Kart territory, I think they even showed off like the trophy room for it too. And to your point, yeah, everything looks very Mario. But I seem to remember, because I was following this for a while, that they were also going to be having like Zelda stuff too, and like kind of maybe expand from that. But I don't know, maybe they either changed course or maybe I'm wrong about that too. But I really thought that they were going to have like different parts of Mario of Nintendo besides just the Mario stuff.
Well, it was only like about like a minute long like trailer, right?
True.
It was. I only watched it one time, but I mean it was pretty short, and they may have just like hit on like kind of the big, like it's Mario,
Yeah,
and stuff.
that's where the money is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing that grabs a lot of people's attention. It's iconic. I mean, not to say like Zelda isn't iconic, but
Right.
I mean Mario's kind of like
Mario is the epoch.
Yeah.
But
the poster show.
Like, have you guys been to like Universal Studios either in California or in Florida before?
Yeah, in California.
In California, okay. So I've been to the one in Florida, then I've been to the Harry Potter World, and back when it was okay to go there, and it is genuinely amazing to see that stuff. Like, I am not a huge Harry Potter fan, but like the second I walked into the Wizarding World stuff, I immediately bought a wand. I almost was this close to buying my own robes too. Like, I absolutely got immersed into it. Like, I drank a gallon of butterbeer, which is just butterscotch. It's good.
Awesome,
it's super good, but it's absolutely super immersive when you're in there. But the crazy part is because it doesn't have the same level of detail as like something like a Disney park does, where they put a lot of care and attention into world building and telling a story to the point of like the transitions between the different worlds are super seamless. Like, it absolutely does not happen when you're at Universal, at least in Florida. Like, they have the one of the roller coasters where, oh my god, you got the wand.
I do have one.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, I was like, oh, I want to bring it up.
Yeah. In my closet, I have the Ollivanders wand.
There you go.
I bought over there too.
I got the Severus Snape one.
Yeah, but the crazy part, like, you go on they only have like one outdoor roller coaster. Holy crap!
It's actually an antenna from an Alpha.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I started looking a little closer. I was like, that does not.
This is my Linksys antenna.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh man, connect this 5G is.
Yeah. But you could go on a roller coaster, and like, again, at a Disney park, you're gonna see you could probably maybe see glimpses of like some of the other parks, but they do a good job of trying to hide it so that way you're just seeing what they want you to see. Universal don't give a fuck, and so you'll be up in the roller coaster and you're going down and you're doing loops and stuff, and you're seeing like the warehouses, you're seeing people on a smoke break, somebody drinking, like they just. Like, if you're immersed while on the ride, that is a coincidence for it too. So I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna do something with that with Nintendo, especially when they bring it here to the States too, because at some point it's gonna be hit up here in Florida and California. And are they going to try to do that same level of like masking for you? I highly doubt it. I think they're just gonna be like, here's your shit, and if you notice that.
I don't know that they would like, because I mean, you're right. Like when you're at Disneyland, every zone you go into, every part of the park is its own theme. And once you get into those parks, like, you feel very immersed in those environments. Like, oh, I'm in this world right now. Like, I went to the was it Galaxy's Edge or something like that, the Star Wars, and like just getting to that part when you get to like the big opening and the big like kind of like cave underpass kind of deal and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like, I'm actually walking into this world, and it's not until you actually get in there do you feel like you're actually in that part of the park and stuff.
Right.
Whereas like, Universal, it's just like, all right, here we go. We got Transformers here. We have the Mummy here. Here's get some snow cones there. That type of stuff, right. Which is fine, but it's just, it's like it's kind of jarring if you're. It's hard to get immersed in there. So I don't know that Hollywood would do that here. It'd be really interesting with the difference. Or like Hollywood studios, it'd be really interesting because I've never been to Japan or let alone a park over there. But it'd be really interesting to see if they do it differently there than they would here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about like here, and it's the same kind of issue with Disneyland, is there's only so much space that they have allocated, right? So they can't be as immersive as like the Florida stuff. I mean, if you look at the landscapes of Disney World compared to like stuff here, it's just night and day, right? I mean, just some of the stuff for Marvel that they've added to Disneyland the last couple of years is essentially just rehashes of, here's the Tower of Terror, but oh shit, we slapped Guardians of the Galaxy on it. Yeah. So it's just rehashes the old buildings and stuff like that, and so it'd be hard, especially where Universal Studios. It's like right in the middle of LA, and you have all the studios and stuff in the back. That's a really good point. It'd be hard for them to make the same level of detail they have there. But for the actual land that they have, the one that's coming out, it seems like they put so much attention to detail, and Nintendo's so protective over their properties that I highly doubt there's like those little areas where you can see the people hanging out behind the back and like that. You know what I mean? It's going to be a full Mario experience through and through. It's just a shame that more likely than not that stuff won't come to. I mean, it might go to Florida, but it's definitely probably not going to come to Hollywood.
Florida, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida's already been talking about it for a long time. Like, there's a buddy of mine that I did a separate podcast with a long time ago where we talked about how to like book a Disney trip, especially if you want to do like an adults, like primarily adult themed trip, where if the kids are either too small or you don't have kids, then how can you have like a plan a trip based around that too? And we spent a lot of time talking about the difference between like Universal and the Disney parks too. And I think as much as we don't want to admit it, especially, and as much as I do love the Disney parks, and I really truly do, like a lot of their shit, you really do start to realize is just a lot of slapdash stuff, like where it's just a repurpose, is just a fresh coat of paint and maybe a retheming, and then they kind of call it a day. And then you can tell sometimes where they really put the effort into. And I think Universal has always been like kind of like the second bananas this whole time, and now they're finally starting to realize like, oh shit, you can make a lot more money if you actually put a little bit more time and effort into it and less slapdashing. And that's why I think the Harry Potter stuff as a theme park itself is probably the best I've ever seen. Period. Mm-hmm. We're just saying something for somebody who's generally not a big Harry Potter fan. I respect the franchise. I don't respect the author anymore, but I respect the franchise, and they just like did such an amazing job for it too. And then you go like the second you walk out of especially like Wizarding World in Florida, you go right into Jurassic Park, and it's such a jarring. There's not that like nice smooth transition, like the music fades in or fades out. It is just you hear the like the Jurassic Park theme overlapping with Harry Potter, so it's such a weird earfuck that it's just like I don't like this. No, don't like do something right. And
you turn the corner out of Gringotts Alley, and all of a sudden there's a fucking T-Rex in your face.
That is incredibly accurate. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like you're not even off the. Yeah, you just walk around like, oh shit, I'm lost. It's my first day. Where am I?
I kind of like the setup of Universal Studios Hollywood here is all those like little hubs for like Simpsons or Harry Potter or like Transformers and all. It's based off a centralized kind of hub. You know what I mean? They're like they're offshoots of it. They don't really overlap each other so much. I mean, you can't walk from Simpsons to Harry Potter, even though they're right next to each other. You kind of got to go out to the main street and back around. So they're kind of their own little isolated experiences. Yeah,
and Florida is a lot that the same way too, where like it is very much set up in like different like zones kind of, but it is they just don't do a good transit. Like there's not like a nice big bridge that like where you can kind of like take a break, like your sensors can take a break from it. It is just fuck you. Here's the next thing. Like we hope you like Prince Valiant because here's this roller coaster. Like what's a Prince Valiant? Like you're too young for it. Fuck you off. And then I'm gonna have to be the one to explain it because like I grew up and I read those comics. Is like hold on, all right, kids, sit down. Let me tell you the story of Prince Valiant. It's a boring comic that nobody cares about.
Gather round, kids.
Yeah. Fuck, I hate getting old. But
let me explain what a comic book is first.
Yeah. God, no kidding.
It's made of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. From trees.
Just as a side note, I've heard on more than a couple occasions, like DC is like considered at least more than a couple times a thing like I think we're kind of done with comics, guys, or maybe it's Marvel, but I know one of the major studios is kind of like I think we're kind of wrapping things up here.
Yeah, I was really a couple years back. I was collecting comics pretty hard. I was spending way too much money every week at the local shop and stuff. But there was a point where it was around the time where Disney acquired Marvel. Mm-hmm. There was #1 issues of Marvel series and stuff popping up all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it was just like most of the comics that are actually on the shelves were all Marvel titles and stuff, and a lot of them were #1s. And I think the understanding that a lot of people had was like, oh yeah, #1s sell the most, and then the readers usually drop off after the second or a couple issues in and everything like that. So Disney was just like, hey, keep making #1, keep rebooting series, start a new one, throw them out there. We're going to cancel this one because they were canceling stuff all the time and everything.
Right.
And talking to the store owner and stuff, he even said like, yeah, just most of the stuff we get anymore is Marvel, and we kind of have to put it out. Like it sells the best, and so we have to. It kind of like sort of consumes the amount of space that they have on the shelves for DC and other publishers and everything like that. And so I don't know if DC was thinking about getting out of comics and stuff. I think they've had some issues recently with cutting out authors or something like that. I forget. I haven't been paying too much attention, just kind of casually listen in on or read a story here and there. But yeah, I don't know. Comics is kind of a weird thing right now. So
because you would think that especially with the rise within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC kind of now limping along a little bit, but trying to pick up a little bit of steam again. and that it would kind of generate the like people's interest in go back and reading some of the old comics. And I'm just as guilty of it too. Like I'll go back like after like watching Black Panther, and Comixology will then have like its sale of Black Panther comics. Like great, I'll pick up like 3 volumes and I'll start reading through that. But then like to your point though, like I'll read maybe 2 issues in the first volume and be like, cool, I got my fix, I'm done. And then like right now, like especially after just finishing Miles Morales on stream. And like I really want to go back and read the Miles Morales comics because again I'm in that Miles mode. But even as I'm saying that right now, that interest is starting to dwindle again too because I've already beaten the game. I'm switching over now to Demon Souls. Cyberpunk is next week too. It's like probably not. So then it just sort of it does kind of fade out, and then because the comic universes are still going to be different from the cinematic universe. It's not like you're getting sequels to the films or anything like that. You're just kind of getting its own universe stories. But if you only really give primarily a shit about the films, does it matter to go back to the comics then at that point too? So I definitely see the conundrum for it too. But it is kind of a shame because you're seeing the end of a dying breed of comic books.
Yeah, but the same thing with the stores. I mean, as a whole, you know what I mean, especially with this big digital push like that, is I mean, I can go to the store and get like I
think I disappeared.
1 volume like this, for instance. Hold on.
I'll try to come back.
Yep. Oh God, you're gone.
It's me.
Oh.
So I would go pick up like a volume like this, right? This Spider-Man Into the Earth.
Yeah.
This is like $25, right? For me to get that, it's like five, 6 issues or so. And I mean, I can go on Comixology or whatever now, and I can get it for $8.99, right? So what's the point of me having this physical version that I have to store somewhere when I can just get this digital version I can read anywhere? If 2 years from now I want to go look at my library, it's easily accessible. I mean, it's the same way that, you know, video games and movies and everything are going now, where it's just digital and ready at hand. And I mean, it just sucks to see, you know what I mean? I've had a lot of good times over the years going to comic book stores and like just filtering through old ones and some plastic wrappers and all that stuff. And, you know, same thing with going to GameStop when it wasn't a shit show. Right. Yeah. And now it's everything's going to be right here or on my freaking, on my laptop or on my PlayStation. That's it.
Right. And I think we actually lost Kyle here. So I'm actually having to like do some quick instant editing.
I am still here.
Oh my God, we can hear you.
For some reason, I muted my mic and I was trying to do some quick troubleshooting. I don't know why Discord just randomly decided to stop identifying my webcam for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Yeah. So I think the only way I could fix that if I was to leave the call and then come back. So I don't know if that's going to cause too much trouble. So
yeah, it's episode 1. This is the pilot, so pilots always go shit goes weird.
All right, be right back.
Yep.
Get the little technical difficulties. Please stand by sign popping up right now.
No, we're just gonna keep on going.
If you like what you hear and see, comment and subscribe.
Yep. Oh, this is so weird. Yeah. Like I was actually kind of hoping that this first episode would be kind of a disaster, and yes,
I still think. I mean, technical difficulties aside, right? For us, just still winging it. It's nice to.
There it is.
Yay!
Hey!
I feel like this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I love doing the podcast. Like it's a good time. But I also enjoy doing these, like this video cast like this, right? Because there's more interaction. Feels like, especially in a time like this with
fun.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And the stuff like with COVID and everything like that, it's not like human interaction is a real big thing right now.
Yeah, right. My work, they're like, we're going to open up maybe back in April, but we changed things around so much, and now you're just permanently remote. So I'm never going to see my coworkers again.
Oh, it's so weird.
I'm just kidding. Some of them are great.
No.
Most of them. All of them. I love all of them.
Right. Good save. You're like, you know who you are. It's all like Jack who keeps stealing my donuts. But
all this stuff that went on with COVID and all that, like we never even shut down. I still just go to work like normal. So it's been no different. I still see the same motherfuckers that I would see, whether or not COVID's happening or not.
But yeah, so like for me, it's like especially like moving to California, changing jobs, everything too. And I've met my coworkers, I think collectively like 2 or 3 times so far in the 6 months I've been there. It's so weird. And like once we kind of get like things start to resemble some form of normal or whatever the new normal is, and going back to an office. And then also realizing like I can't just wake up and go turn on my laptop and turn on my coffee maker. Like I was like, oh no, I have to get ready for work now too. I can't just show up in my PJs anymore. Shit.
I gotta put pants on.
Yeah.
I haven't worn like adult pants
Yeah.
in like a couple of months. I wear basketball shorts and sweatpants like all the time because I don't ever have to. I mean, I go to the store, but I mean, I can't. I'm not that flexible. I can't bring my shit up. But yeah, no, I feel it. I mean, I definitely miss it a little bit. I mean, the biggest thing I miss is not necessarily going into the office, but it's like inviting people over because I just moved into a new house like right at the start of all this stuff and everything. So I got this awesome room. I was going to try to turn into like a hangout, play games and like tabletop and stuff like that. Now come over.
Yep.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
People are going to come over and you're going to open the door and dust is just going to fly off of everything. You're going to be like, oh, let's play some checkers.
I just want to roll some dice, man. Shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like I especially with like doing all these cooking streams and stuff too. Like and like for example, like Thanksgiving, I baked that sweet potato pie. I ate that whole fucking pie from between Thursday through Monday, and that reaction right there between the two of you fuckers right there. That's exactly how all my coworkers were like. Wait, what? It's only Monday. You've already finished it?
I laughed because I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Of course you eat the whole pie. I would eat a whole pie.
Yeah. But my wife and her family made 10 pies, and I mean, 4 of them came home with us. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, I indulged in a pie a day at least.
Oh my god!
I mean, not like the whole pie, but I mean like a couple pieces.
Oh, okay.
We pretty much had 4
pies.
I'm about
to say it's like different.
Yeah. I could have
done
very easily in one sitting.
Yeah,
I believe
you've never seen me eat except for this flame broiler bowl at the beginning
before recording. Yeah,
I've seen you eat.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. Remember that time we went to sushi and I just demolished that all you can eat? I felt like the Family Guy whenever Peter goes to the all you can eat buffet and they're like trying to drag him out.
All you can eat though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up,
so Mario.
Yeah, we're talking about Mario. Moving on. So there's a Metal Gear remake that is apparently, possibly, maybe, who knows? So there's been a few leaks going on the interwebs that with the PS5 that there's gonna be some PlayStation exclusives. One of which is potentially a Metal Gear Solid remake, which would then make it the
none other than Blue Point Games.
Which what else? Are they the guys who did Twin Snakes?
They're the ones that did Demon's Souls.
Demon's Souls. Oh shit.
Yeah. Same people.
Wow.
So I guess there's a couple sections in Demon's Souls where you can actually hear the scream from the Metal Gear Solid.
Oh wow.
So people are tying that in for one thing, but there's a lot of push that Sony has been working with Blue Point and Hideo Kojima to remake Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 5, and it's ready. But they were only going to use it if Halo Infinite came out. It's kind of like as a Halo combat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that video set there.
Yeah, but they didn't end up doing it because they didn't. After Halo Infinite just got real shitty preview builds and got delayed and everything like that.
People were very upset.
What came out for the Series X? You know, I mean, Assassin's Creed. That's a multi-plat. Like, there's no real push for it, so they didn't need it necessarily. So they kind of tucked it away. Same thing with, I guess, God of War 2 is, according to this video, is a lot further along in development than what they say it is. Like playable demos, and it's really slated for 2021.
Yeah.
But they keep all that stuff in the bag because there's no reason yet.
Right. And especially, like, I would be excited for a Metal Gear remake, but this also, I'm thinking about it too, is like, because it came out initially for the PlayStation, and then it was ported to PC, because I remember playing that in college on my laptop, and just think that was the coolest thing ever, be able to play Metal Gear on the go.
Yeah.
And then there was the Twin Snakes on the GameCube. Then the PlayStation had to re-release it again as part of like the Solid Snake Collection stuff. For the PS2, then I think the PS3, when Metal Gear 4 came out, they had another collector's edition again. The PlayStation Classic just re-released it. I would assume it's been out on like every single one of the virtual consoles has had some version of it now too. So then this will be like probably the 8th or 9th iteration. Like this, like it's like an untalked about Skyrim, where it just keeps coming out on every console.
I'm not sure if that Twin Snakes collection had the original one in there. I think that might have only been Metal Gear Solid 2 and that weird like portable ops stuff kind of tied in with it. I wish I liked those. I thought that's fun.
Yeah. No, Twin Snakes was just Twin Snakes for the GameCube, but I just loved that remake. That was probably my all-time favorite GameCube game.
I love the Metal Gear Solid games. The first one is obviously like by far the best in terms of story and everything like that. Because the second one just kind of goes, and it kind of had a hard time coming back. But
I think it did.
So I'm looking. Yeah. Somewhat. Wait, is the 3 or 4 the one where they're in the future? Snake's old. I think that's 4, right? It's Guns of the
3 is
Patriots.
Snake Eater.
Yeah, but that was taking it back way back with Big Boss.
Right, but still good though.
And I
never played a Metal Gear Solid game. I just want to break my silence.
What? Oh, it's so part 1 is so good.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, obviously, it's a beloved franchise and stuff. I just I had a Nintendo 64, and my neighbors had the PlayStation, and so I'd go over there, and they didn't have Metal Gear Solid. And then then I just missed the boat. That's all.
It's a weird boat. It's a weird fucking boat.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. I played 1, 2, 4, and 5. I actually 3 is the only one that I actually missed.
that was spectacular. It really is. Like I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've technically have played 5. 5 is the one I've never beaten. Partially because it ran into the problem with the live service game, which kind of led to the whole thing with Kojima, where they wanted to keep doing like add-ons and expansions for it to kind of continue to tell the story, but then Kojima was let go from Konami, and so there is no really official ending to 5. It just sort of Final Fantasy 15 itself and just kind of farted itself out. It's just sort of like
just farted itself out.
Yeah, it's like what's gonna happen next? Like oh no, a zombie game that no one's gonna like.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, survival. Oh, it's so just. It's if no could be personified as a game, it's Metal Gear Survive. It's just everything about it's just no. Like, is there stealth? Yeah. No. Then like, is there a good story? No, not even close. Like it's stabbing zombies through fences with sticks. That's that whole fucking game. And the fact that you have to pay for save slots.
What?
Yes.
What a weird.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Like they had microtransactions so you could have multiple saves, so that way you can kind of go back. Because the idea is like to have it as a singular experience, but it's like, well, what if I want to go back? Like, well, we'll allow that for an extra like $5 or whatever. But total disaster. Because at that point, Konami's all about pachinko machines too, because it's all about making money at that point.
Yeah.
Which every company's that way for it too. But at the same time, it's like, come on, like you're paying for
such a petty thing though. Like. Saving a game, or however much it costs.
Yeah.
How much longer do you think that Konami is really going to even stay in the games industry? Period. I mean, it seems like they've just kept going with the pachinko machines.
I think they're kind of done at this point. I can see them honestly selling their licenses out. Like I can see like where it's just going to be up for like where they'll still maintain like primary rights to it too, but they'll license it out so that way somebody can continue making games for it too.
Well, that's like the Silent Hills, right? The rumor that keeps just burning and burning and burning. That's what Kojima's next game is Silent Hills, and they just buying the license from Konami,
right? Which
Sony is.
It wouldn't be a bad idea for them too, because again, they're still making a lot of money off the pachinko machines over in Japan, but there's still such a demand. Like I still would like a new Castlevania game. Like I would like a new Metal Gear, and I'm kind of indifferent to Silent Hill. I'm not super into survival horror, but. Like, if somebody like Platinum Studios is like, hey, we got the rights to Castlevania, things are about to get really weird, like, take my money
that would be
right now. I would absolutely take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Or if Capcom got the rights to Silent Hill now, too, and so they turn Silent Hill into a first person with all the mist and stuff, too. Like, again, like, give it to people who know what they're doing, or give it to the Asylum folks or something. Like, let them do something with it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad when publishers sit on franchises and IPs and stuff like that, and just don't let them do anything with it.
Yeah.
Or they do terrible things with it. So.
Like Metal Gear Survive, really good example for that too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another franchise I can think of that's just sitting dormant because of licensing issues is that Time Splitters. Mm-hmm. Like that was one of the best like first-person shooters I've ever played. Man, I had the multi-tap and just. Playing like crazy, man. Time Splitters 2 and 3, and then there's a remake of Time Splitters 2 being made by fans and stuff, but they've been working on it for years. But that license is just sitting there, like it's not being used.
Yeah, like once you kind of get to being on a Shaun of the Dead film, like you really should like kind of milk that for all it's worth and just make 4 more. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then you also don't want to run into the Call of Duty problem either too, where there's a new one every single goddamn year too. So yeah. But speaking of comebacks though, G4, like it's coming back. Like
Yeah.
I did not see that. Like I knew, like when they first made that announcement, like a few months ago too. Like that was one of those, like, really, like that's kind of.
So I haven't seen. So I heard about it. I know that they kind of did like a cast get together over the holiday, like over Thanksgiving and stuff.
Yep.
But I haven't looked into it at all. It's because I'm like, that's weird. I'll go about my day and stuff. Just because I remember watching it, all the fucking time. The same like 4 or 5 programs they had on it.
Yeah.
Playing the same episodes over and over.
Yeah.
But have they? Has there been any like information as to like in what way it's coming back? Is it going to be like a YouTube series channel? Is it going to be like actually back on a cable network or something? Or
so apparently it's supposed to be an actual network because Comcast is bankrolling this whole thing. Because I even went to their website too, just out of curiosity for it. So it's supposed to be like they're going to go like multi-platform on this. So there's supposed to be like a regular channel for it, and they can't not be some sort of streaming service. Either it's going to be on YouTube or. Like maybe like a Twitch, or maybe they do their own sort of streaming kind of service itself for it too. But just so you can kind of be playing through that stuff. But the only real recent news has also been just that Xavier Woods, the WWE superstar, is going to be like he's the first like official new cast member who's going to be joining G4 in some form. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I've seen that dude at PAX where he's with the Penny Arcade guys doing Acquisition Incorporated, and that dude can absolutely play the shit out of some D&D. Like he.
Oh yeah, he's fun as hell.
Yeah, like his channel too, Up Up Down Down is fantastic too. Like it's just to be able to see him just acting just so fun and being so like genuinely very positive person for it too. Being overall like you can tell just kind of a joyful dude altogether. Like a really good fit for them kind of bringing the channel back. But it does kind of, at least for me, kind of raise a question of like, especially now in the age of like YouTube, where you like I think all 3 of us have favorite YouTubers that we watch pretty regularly for it too, and Twitch streamers like like 2 of us, and your Kyle, your wife is a streamer for it too. Julian's considering getting into streaming too. Our editor is streaming too. Like, is G4 like coming back now? Like, is it good timing for it too? Is it poor timing? Like, what do you guys think?
So I watched that reunion special Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I watched it, and I mean they make fun of themselves for the failed network and like mismanaging and stuff of failing in the first place and becoming from their own original shows to just a cops channel 24/7.
Yeah, which was absolutely a thing. That is a fair call out too.
Yeah, it was.
Cheaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so I watched it, and they had like the moments and stuff in there, like from highlights from Attack of the Show and all that stuff and X-Play. And I know it's supposed to like invoke a lot of like nostalgia and be like, yeah, I can't wait for this. But like watching it, I feel like it's a lot cringy, man. It's a lot cringier than what I thought it was when I was younger, right? And so I don't know how successful it's going to be. Like, more props to him, right? We need something like that, like a gaming platform and all that. But with the way everything is so diluted and everything, with like you say, we got favorite streamers, we got favorite YouTubers, we got fucking video game content up the ass. Yeah, this is my favorite streamer right there.
Yeah. Aw. I wasn't fishing for that, but yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever way it is.
Whatever he is.
Left hand.
But I mean, with such a saturated market at this point, what is it going to bring that's going to be any different? Like, from all I saw from that, their nostalgia stuff was just cringy, like maybe uncomfortable cringy. Like, there was jokes and stuff, like they writ some stuff for the skit and all that, and it just didn't land with me how I think they would want it to. And that Xavier Woods guy joining it, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be like great, but yeah, I just didn't. It didn't impress me. You know what I mean? You guys can go watch it and
I watched some of it and stuff, and yeah, I was like, I didn't watch a ton of it because I was like, it's not really feeling this. This wasn't like I wasn't connecting with it and stuff. It was great to see like Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira, Olivia Munn, all those people and stuff like that. It was awesome. and I would love to see more from them and stuff, just because for me they're like, oh, I was a teenager when I was watching, fucking G4 and everything. This is great, so I have like the nostalgia is there for these individuals and stuff. And but I think they would have to really do something new. I don't think they could just like, hey, we're G4, we're back. Like, no. Like, you gotta come up with something new, because I mean, really the landscape of what people are into now, and like even with video games, has completely changed than what it was, like back when G4 was in its prime, right? Like it's not the same stuff. And so I think they would have to try to come up with something new that's not just trying to, like piggyback off of what is going on now. Like, of course you got to have stuff that people can like, be familiar with and everything that's contemporary, but I think they're going to have to come up with some new stuff, and honestly, that's why I think it's weird that they would even be like a TV network. Like, how much content you guys going? Because I remember like you guys didn't have very much content. I watched the same episodes of Portal every fucking day, and stuff, just to have on, because I loved like that machinima type stuff and everything. And so it's like, what are you guys going to do different? Like, how are you guys going to have stuff that I can watch on your network? Like, give me a reason to be on your network all the time, not just okay, I'll come back next week when you guys have 4 new episodes of the 4 same shows. Because I don't want to watch cheaters and cops all day.
Yeah, and
right.
And I think that's what they want to do too. Because to your point, I agree. It's a little strange to kind of watch, because like ever since that special's come on, and even in preparation for this, like I've watched a lot of old X-Play and Attack of the Show episodes, and I think like especially rewatching this stuff too, it reminded me of a couple things. One is like it is genuinely shocking that some of the jokes that they were able to pull off back then were able to be on the air, because it was just a lot of it is like shocking. Like, really, you were able to like make like gay jokes and make like racial comments and stuff like that too. It's like, that is like
definitely a different time too.
It's definitely
it's a weird niche network.
It's 100% a product of its time for it too. But I also think part of it too is I don't think they're going to be able. They're going to do the cops and do the cheaters sort of marathon, or even a variation of that for it too, because I think they also realized that was its downfall for it too. But I think there's enough content out there for it too. I think the one thing that they would be able to do that I think that Twitch streamers and YouTubers really can't do is that they will have large scale resources to do like their shows on a regular basis. Like X-Play was on 4 to 5 days out of the week. Attack of the Show was on 4 or 5 days out of the week for it too. So if they were to do to do their versions of those shows, it is actually still technically possible to still do it, because they're going to have like Comcast money to make it happen. It's just going to be more of a matter of, do they still have the dynamics for it? Because that's the other thing that this show reminded me of too, is that what brought you back every single week was I watched Attack of the Show because I was a fan of Ken Pereira and Olivia Munn's just dynamics, because they had such amazing chemistry. And they just play off each other extremely well. Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler for X-Play for like they just did not give a fuck of the stuff they were saying on TV. Because clearly, again, I challenge you guys and anybody who's watching this, thank you, to go back and go watch some old episodes of X-Play, and you can tell they're just having fun. And that's really like I did care about the reviews, because they actually, I think they did give a unique perspective for a lot of their comments. Like they gave Metal Gear Solid 2 a 2 out of 5, which at the time when everyone was calling Game of the Year, they're like, no, this is terrible. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And they would like highlight games that most people would be like, it's fine. They would like either rant or rave about for it too. So I mean, they did have a unique perspective, which I think is worth having again for it, if they're going to have some version of X-Play with them back or not. But I think it's just that they have to, I think, remember what made it work. And I think that was kind of one of the problems that started happening over time was when it was just Tech TV or ZDTV before that, that's when they had full reign to do whatever they wanted. And then when it became the G4, and then G4 was starting to do its own thing, and then G4 Tech TV merger happened, they still had a lot more of their freedom, but especially when we start watching the older episodes of X-Play, the skits started to go away for it too. It was just a more standard generic show, so the dynamics and the fun stuff started to go away. Like they weren't doing like, they would go like, oh, we went to Blizzard to go talk to them about WoW, which cool, but that became more the norm. They weren't doing silly stuff like, having like their Christmas special where they had like a talking, cursing gopher that would call people like bitch and damn and stuff. Like that's
Would you say that it kind of like matured a little bit?
I think they were like forced to mature, I think is what it was. And I think they didn't want to I think there's an argument to be made for natural maturing for it too. Like as those guys got older, they would be like, you know what, like the dumb stuff like that, maybe we can kind of peel back. But I definitely got the feeling that it was a lot more of it was forced.
Right.
And because I think that's also what made a lot of that stuff work for it too. Like I think having like the silly character, like having Drunk Link worked. And
well, I was 15 when I was like watching you know. So I love that. I love stupid. I mean, I'm 33 now, and I still love that shit.
I do too. Yeah, I'm 37.
But,
I still laughed at it.
Yeah, you know, but I think you're totally right, and just kind of how they sort of changed and stuff. And I'd be really curious to see what they're gonna come up with. That's gonna, you know, like, oh, cool. I only have so much time now. When I was 15, I could watch the same episodes of X-Play and Attack of the Show and Portal, and they probably had one or two other fucking shows on there or something like that.
Like Arena, which was like, I think their competitive stuff. G4TV.com, which I think is something they could bring back, which would be like their interactive show where they could bring people on to actually talk to the community, which I think would be huge.
Yeah.
And
it's like, how are you going to like win my time over, right? Because I mean, you mentioned earlier, like, you know, favorite YouTubers, favorite streamers, you know, favorite this and that. You know, it's like, I have Netflix series. I'm rewatching episodes of Mandalorian every week and stuff like that. Like, why should I tune in, actively tune into your network? It's like, I'd almost kind of prefer if they did more of the like, kind of like Netflix, here's a season kind of thing and stuff, and do a whole season, and I can just binge that over a weekend and be like, I want more of this or not want more.
Yeah.
Just to see if I'm even interested in like their stuff, you know. But I mean,
I can see them even trying, like, if they're smart, even do a hybrid, because they did have some sub-made TV shows. Like they had like Code Monkeys, they had Spaceballs, the TV show, which that was terrible.
Code Monkeys.
But Code Monkeys was great. That stuff I think they could still do. They could do like bingeable stuff. But some of this stuff like Attack of the Show and X-Play work because it's done on the fly for the most part for you and done super low budget. So they can just do a skit in 3 or 4 takes and be done with it, and then have an episode, have it ready to air the next day for too. So I think it's got to be kind of a mix of both. But I also think, especially in this age for too, I think there's enough people like within our age groups for too that it can do something like they can have the interactivity with the viewers and audience. So I think that's something that I think they would really like, to be able to have a chance to have a conversation with like Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler on games, talk about pop culture stuff with Kevin Prairie and Olivia Munn for too. I think that absolutely could work for too. And like whoever becomes a new movie buff or whatever for too, I think that they can have it where you can have that higher level of interaction with it for too. I think that stuff could work, and if they can actually like secure the rights for things like having like esport tournaments like for it too, that becomes a huge filler for it too. Like they can be airing that stuff during the downtimes for it as well. Like and they can still branch out into still the other parts of even within gaming and geek culture for it too, as long as it stays in that geek culture realm. If it's almost, it has to be like when G4 and Tech TV merged, you get that geeky stuff and then you get the tech stuff, but you still keep them. Like you still have a show like The Screensavers, which is 100% about tech support and talking about the latest technology, and they're talking about like even having like a phone in or having a live tune in like through Twitch or something like that to talk about your tech issues that you're running into. You could still have a variation of it that can still draw people in, because again, it's just, I think there's still enough of a nostalgia factor for it, and bringing Xavier Woods does bring in a younger audience for it too. So as long as they just don't, the second they see a single episode of Cops, they're fucked. Or that new version of that. If they bring on one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it's over. Like I think once they go syndicated, it's game over for them. Like they have to do all original programming, or else it's going to be just terrible.
I feel like with TV as a whole now, there's too many channels with not enough on. So I don't think TV is necessarily the best platform for them to go. I feel like probably like a YouTube channel where it's like quick content right to the point, like would probably be ideal for them. And I mean, they have that YouTube channel. That's where I see on the Thanksgiving special, and they've been like posting clips and clips and clips there. So it seems like they're at least going to incorporate it in some, and then maybe they can use that to incorporate, stuff like bringing Code Monkeys back, or I don't remember what that show was called. Remember that me and you, Kyle, used to watch when G4 was at its peak. Was when Kyle lived down here, so we were hanging out all the time, and we'd be playing Halo 2 and stuff, watching G4 in the background. But they had that one show on there where they just did overdubs of video games.
Oh yeah,
the Machinima one.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like their Machinima show. I can't remember what it was anymore now, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they had like Red versus Blue and all that shit too, right?
Yeah.
But doing stuff like that, they could easily do that like on the YouTube channel.
Right. So
I have a really stupid memory of watching G4. I forget what episode it was, but it was one where they were showing like how to make gamer grub or something like that, or some snack you could eat while you're like playing video games or something. And it was some really weird version of a grilled cheese sandwich with something else thrown, like grilled cheese and bananas or something. It was something weird. Yeah. And I was just like, I want to make this. But as a dumb 15-year-old kid, it was John. You remember John, right?
Yeah.
So he and I were watching it, and we're like, let's make this food really quick, and we're just stupid. And so I grabbed a cookie sheet, and I put that on the stovetop.
Oh no!
And I used that to heat up my shit.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, the smoke alarm and the cookie sheet ended up in the pool, and there was like bread and peanut butter floating around the pool for like a couple of days. But I don't know. That's a really dumb memory. I don't even know why I brought it up again or anything like that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is
that's what G4 is in a nutshell. It's just like let's try something dumb and see what happens.
And I kind of
you are G4.
Yeah. Like I kind of want that shit. I want more of that. Like, I want something that's not just going to be like kind of cookie cutter same shit. That's like kind of reflective of what is like current, landscape of, game entertainment or anything like that, or
right.
Geek or nerd culture, because all that stuff is kind of like molded together now, right? Like it's all the same shit. Like geek culture is still there, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of just mainstream pop culture anymore, and stuff. And so it's like, how are they going to lean on a niche of just like kind of being a generic video game themed network, or is they going to have some other fun stuff on there too?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of want to see some more creativity.
That's what I'm absolutely hoping for that too, because I think there's still a lot they could do with it too. Like they could have like whole shows like on indie games and have like interviews with the developers. They can bring back that show Icons too, where they can talk about like major game developers. Like if anything else, you could even take some of the folks like even from YouTube too that do a lot of really good work. Like for example, like Matt McMuscles, who does the TV those YouTube episodes, What Happened. We're talking about the how major games just completely fucked up. Like that, you like bring that guy on who can do that level of research, but then give him the resources where he can have an episode every week or something like that, where he can have a team and a crew who can do that level of research for it. Because I think that's where they could start to surpass YouTube to a certain extent. Would be like, again, like one of my favorite YouTubers is Pro Jared, but his major episodes are pretty sporadic for it too, because it's primarily him and I think an editor. And so it takes a while for him to play through a full 40-hour game, to do the cuts, to come up with the script and all that stuff for it too. But again too, like he also does his Twitch streaming and stuff for it too. So, but again, if you give something like that, like some extra resources where he could really sit down, dedicate some time to play a game, and then roll it out, and then roll out a video like in combination with a full crew, that's a lot more doable than for it too, where you could have something out maybe like every 2 weeks instead or something like that. Like, and you could have a variation of that, of somebody who can kind of go through those games and go through the stuff that we like, but then give them the resources to do it on a much more frequent basis, where they can, if they have a full-time job, they can stop doing that and then work for G4 like permanently almost. But then still give them the creative freedom.
They're gonna have to give me something that I can't get on YouTube or Twitch.
Right.
Yep. Or a better version.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's
the other
exactly
thing
it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't know, can't get much better than what I feel like I watch. Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I like what I like now. I'm kind of set in my ways, I guess. But
like you're saying that stuff about the whatever happened to you, right? I watched like the wavy web surf guy, and like all his stuff comes out every week, and it's fully 20-30 minute detailed videos, and I watch that shit religiously. So I'm not gonna go watch a G4 version of the same thing I heard probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just finding that. I feel like they have to find the balance between something new and what people want, and like their old school stuff, right? It's a weird, delicate balance they're gonna have to find.
Yeah, and they mentioned that on their website too, where it is gonna be like they still want to have like we put this together on a shoestring budget, like kind of feel to it, but still having like some security with the background, which I think is kind of like the dream of it too. Like if you can have real creative freedom, but then also having a safety net for it too, of like having like like to quote John Oliver, like a business daddy who can financially support you while you do your silly shit for too, but at the same time not interfering. Because that's what happened to G4. G4 just got like way too much studio involvement, and that's when they started like realizing like, oh hey, we can just if we just like start buying other TV shows like Ninja Warrior. Like as cool as that show was, that was the start of the downfall, because Ninja Warrior brought in a lot of viewers, so it was genuinely interesting to watch. And then that put dollar signs in the execs' heads, and so they just started buying up all the TV shows like Star Trek and Arrested Development, like Cops and Cheaters, and then before we knew it, they tried to be a new Spike network, and nobody gave a shit about the Spike network.
Fuck yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how long like Cops prolong G4's demise?
Yeah.
Like just Cops and Cheaters, like the revenue they brought from that,
right.
Dude.
And it's such a who cares of a show. but it's cheap and it's easy to make, and there's a trillion episodes, so
Yeah.
So
I think that barely got canceled this year.
yeah, Cops finally ended.
Right, it's gone, isn't it?
Yeah. After everything's been kind of going on in the world, Cops actually, I think after like 30-something years of being on the air for it too. So it definitely a damn good run for them. But yeah, I think it was just kind of time for that.
Well, they were also being eclipsed by Live PD or whatever on A&E. I used to watch Live PD all the fucking time, man. I love it.
I never heard of
that. Oh yeah, it was great. It was just like they'd have 10 or so cities that they were watching, and they had their camera crews along with the police. So you'd get like a video of like a street fight, and then all of a sudden you'd go from a street fight to some dude passed out drunk in the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like Cops.
And then a police.
That's exactly what Cops is.
But
what shit are you talking about?
But the thing about Cops though, right, was like it had been recorded and like processed and produced and shit like in a room, right? This was like as it was happening. Like you'd be in the middle of watching some drunk dude get like tasered, and then they'd be like, "Oh, we got a breaking news, a car chase," and all of a sudden you're fucking in the passenger seat of a high-speed chase,
Damn.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, and they got, but that show, even before all that stuff happened, had some like little set of controversies and stuff like that. People playing it up for the camera, and what you would expect, right?
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do for too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last thing I kind of want to talk about, and this before we kind of move on for too, like again, this is kind of the result of watching so much G4 too. I think because the way people, a few YouTubers that had recorded the episodes and posted it up there, they much like this episode is not edited at all, which means I think they just took their old DVR episodes of X-Play, including commercials, and just popped that shit on YouTube. So you should start seeing tons and tons of commercials while, usually I'll have X-Play on the background while playing Final Fantasy 14 or something. And I started realizing you start seeing the exact same commercials over and over again for shitty tech schools like ITT Tech that they jam down your throats for it. Bullshit Radio Shack commercials too, which I forgot Radio Shack was even a thing until I started rewatching these things.
I miss Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Me too.
Their downfall was when they tried to be like a Best Buy too, when they want we want to have all your consumer electronics. Like, no, you went there for cables and batteries. Like that was it. That was the whole
resistors and capacitors and other electronic components for your little home projects that people just stopped doing.
Right. That was
they can get on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I
never understood half the stuff in there, dude.
Yeah. That was the point. I think it was like if you understood, that meant you were elite. That meant you were elite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's. I think a big kind of factor can be for G4, which also led to his downfall was the sponsors too. Like it's just they need to have if they are going to be back on a network, they need to attract way more than just crappy infomercial style stuff for it too, or watching the olds back in the day. And granted, this is back in the day for it too, so I kind of say this now with a grain of salt of how to use the internet kind of stuff, or your grandparents they just got this newfangled computer. Like, what's this? I don't know what this is. They're like, am I Facebooking right now? Am I doing it right? Which I'm
just the top half of the face.
I better be. Yeah.
I fucking love old people's Facebook photos, man.
Yeah,
it's always just right here. 20 of those photos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's always zoomed in somehow. So somehow they were like, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah. How are you zoomed in and zoomed out at the same time? This is confusing.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be the other part for too. It's gotta be sponsored, but at the same, I hope they also don't go the same route again too. Of this is X Play's review brought to you by Pizza Hut. That's gonna be the other thing too. They have to stay kind of distance for that too, because again, it's best about staying as genuine as possible. Have commercials, but have good commercials. Not Raycons, not Audible.com or anything like that. Just have real vendors.
Well, if it's Comcast and it's on actual television network and stuff like that, you're gonna get all the same shit that you see right now. Watching TV and everything. So
yeah,
I mean.
Which would be still a step up from what G4 initially dealt with too, which again was all ITT Tech and what's a computer? I don't know. I just watched 4 hours of screensavers. I still don't know how to set up my desktop.
Yep.
Yeah. Last thing that we at least have on the docket for the Video Game Awards is coming up. I think in the next week or two. I do not give three shits to any one of you guys.
I've tried watching it a couple times. I'll put it on in the background, right? And then when I hear world premiere, I'll look over and I'll see some trailer for some shitty thing that I don't care about. It's for some DLC for some fucking indie game that no one even played.
Yeah.
It's It's
honestly, I think
horrible,
that's why. I
horrible
think
stuff.
that's the only reason why people really tune in for that anymore is
Right.
just to like wait for those world premieres. They put it on the background, just like you.
Yeah.
They're in there baking
Yeah.
bread or something. They hear
Yeah.
a world premiere, like, oh,
Yep. You got my attention
Watch.
now.
yeah,
Yep.
okay, cool, thanks. And then you go back to making your fucking food. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's back to your punk burn.
It's I don't know. It's a funky thing. Like, cool. I mean, cool. It's a great thing for like the developer and stuff like that, right? To win an award. So, I don't know how prestigious it is, like in the industry itself.
And that's
right?
the guy. I'm curious about that too. Like, do developers actually give a shit?
They
Yeah,
might.
They might.
If anything,
it's still an
like,
award, but yeah.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's like it's probably important to the people that are involved in it. Like as a viewer, it's just kind of like cool. Like I have opinions on which games I think should win, but I don't really care because I'm just like I have other things that I'm worried about and concerned with and stuff, rather than who wins best voice actor or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's probably not meant for people like us that are just easily, dismissed by it and everything. It's probably meant for people that like genuinely really care about like that, that whole culture and stuff. That's that goes into developing a game, down to like voice actors to cut scenes and all that stuff and everything.
Right.
Even with that though, I mean, I haven't ever seen like a game that won Game of the Year, at the Game Awards ever like rebrand their box, like their box art for their game to say like,
Game of the Year,
TGA Game of the Year, yeah. But I mean, as it's gone on, it's got more of a reputation to it, so I'm assuming it'll kind of ratchet up maybe this year. But even so, I and you know what's going to happen. I got to tell you, The Last of Us 2 is going to win Game of the Year.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's assuming too. Yeah.
It should be Ghost of Tsushima. That's just my biased opinion. The game was a fucking masterpiece.
Well, isn't that what award shows are? It's like at some point they are kind of biased, right? Like they don't like pool everybody around the internet, or do they? Do they like take?
I have no idea.
There is
I don't know how they actually.
So there is a portion on the, if you go to the Game Awards website, you can vote on what you want to win. However, it does not actually influence the vote. It is just more like
video game electoral college, and
yeah, it's still that's really what it is. It's just like there is already like the people have already voted for it too. It's just going to be like the voters' choice for Game of the Year was Ghost of Tsushima. However, the award is actually going to go to The Last of Us 2 kind of thing. So it's like
that's interesting.
Yeah. So at that point, then it's like I kind of like I do kind of sway with that too a little bit. It's like, then who cares? That like you're literally just saying you're doing it just for shits and giggles to make it feel like you know it's like if you're the kid and you give your little brother the controller that's not plugged in and be like, I'm playing, like, you sure are, buddy. That's what you're doing. You're giving the audience an unplugged controller right now. It's like, who cares? Like, even they just say like like, unless they actually make it a point of saying like, and if they were gonna do it, they'll do it later on of saying like, these were the voters' choice awards for it too, which again then that's its own separate thing then. But yeah, I think because there's still like that, there's still the Golden Joystick Awards too, which again, I don't give a shit. And then if you're a major website, if you're IGN, if you're GameSpot, if you're Polygon, if you're any of these guys, you also have your Game of the Year award winners too.
Right.
So it's just like I think it's a very much an oversaturated market for it too. And I think I think they generally are trying to make the VGAs the big one, like they're trying to treat this like the Oscars of it too. But I think there's nothing really in there to really separate it from it, other than just like, this is going to be where you watch the trailers, which again, all three of us are going to do the exact same thing. Like, I'll just keep it on the background. I'll see what they tuned in. It's like I say EA Sports. I'm like, nope. I'll switch back to something else then.
I'll wait till the last 30 minutes of the show and then I'll put it on, because that's when the good trailers are coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Catch the highlights on YouTube.
Right, that's it. Yeah. Like, all I have to do is just wait for like 3 minutes after the awards are over, and all the trailers will pop up on YouTube anyway. Or you go to IGN or GameSpot, and they'll be there as you go along anyway. So it's just,
4 or 5 years from now, it might be like the thing though. Like you're saying, they're trying to build it up like that, because you think about E3, right, before G4 and all that stuff really went there and like broadcast it. It was just an event. You'd go there and they talk a little bit about games and there's all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a huge thing. And then all of a sudden it started being broadcast on G4 and people are like, oh, what's this E3 thing? And all of a sudden it started getting more and more. And now it's, for the most part, it's a staple of gaming, right? When it comes around. So
what day is it? What day does it air?
I think it's
December 10th.
Yeah, so that's what, next Thursday.
What are you guys doing December 10th?
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a little charcuterie board, some cheese, and some fine fake meats. Because I'm a weirdo. I'm some crackers. I'm gonna get myself a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the VGAs.
Yeah.
Who's with me? You guys with me?
I'll do
You're
it.
gonna go to the
Yeah.
butcher shop, and you're gonna be like, I would like a slice of your finest fake meat, please.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I will take that cham.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
No, but fuck, I'm gonna watch it this time. I'm kind of curious now.
What?
I'll give it a shot.
We have this
Yeah.
vidcast that we're doing here. We might as well do what every other YouTube channel does, and let's just live stream reaction to it.
Yeah, we can
Sure,
put up on Twitch and yeah. 'Cause I know a lot of folks are gonna be doing that too. Where it's just gonna be like treating it like a watch party and like
If anything,
just
it'd
gonna,
just be fun to watch it with you guys and just like talk shit.
I'm fine with that too. Yeah, I'm
Ooh,
totally
catty bitches. I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm totally good with that too. Because I just picked Ghost of
What the fuck?
What's that?
You said catty bitches, and it's like,
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hear the snaps. I just saw you do this.
I thought that was gonna be like a glass of wine, going like, "Here, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima real quick." It's which it is. Like I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. That is fucking amazing too. Like my copy of The Last of Us 2 came out today too.
like, hey, let's talk about Call of Duty Cold War, huh? Just
like, or we could not.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about fucking Death Stranding, walking simulator.
Rough.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'd be fine.
What a decisive or divisive like opinion you have on Death Stranding. I think you're the only person who feels that way.
Like I say that as also somebody who's never actually played Death Stranding, and I have it on Steam now too. So I keep saying like I need to stream that or play. Like I don't think streaming is gonna be a good idea for that because I think it's just too heavy to stream it, and I'm not big enough yet to support that.
Yeah.
But
So it's a better like experience to like actually play it, to like actually get all of the game and how it's meant to be played versus like watching it. Because yeah, I can see that being pretty fucking boring to watch.
Right. So I think that like hell, I might even do that as soon as we're done here. So I still got a few hours before I have to go to bed before I have to get up for work in the morning. I might just play a couple hours of Death Stranding and see. I'm gonna turn on all my max settings. I'll turn on my HDR. I'll put it on full max settings on my monitor here, and let's really give this a shot and see what it's about.
Yeah, man, go all into it. Get yourself some bagel bites.
Yeah.
Do you do soda? Do a soda? Oh no, you drink beer.
Yeah, I'll drink a beer. I've already had my beer, so I'll do some water. And
there you go.
Yeah, and I'll experience Hideo Kojima's unfiltered, unedited. Just like he says, I want to do this thing. Like I want a game where Norman Reedus walks around with a baby and you throw bags of piss at zombie things, and no one said no.
And Monster Energy drink.
Yes.
Baby Walking Simulator 2020.
Yep. And listen to his Spotify account playlist.
I would love to play a Death Stranding mod that is the Mega 64 skit of Death Stranding, because that shit cracked me up. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I'll link it. It is Mega 64. Those guys are geniuses.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well,
never mind. Man.
Yeah. And on that, look at that. We actually hit an hour and 7 minutes of us talking. Not bad. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. We will continue to update and edit and improve on this as we go along, and have other kind of separate shows for it. We'll have our own version of G4 where we come up with our own separate conversations, separate topics for it too. But this will be a new hub where you can tune in and watch our more unedited and uncensored thoughts on stuff. And we'll still, of course, have the podcast, of course, which again, link is down below. Our Twitch links for Kyle and I are posted right above Kyle and to the right of me. And so once Julian gets his stuff set up too, we'll have his included as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Give us make sure you follow, subscribe, and with all that, for Let's All Geek Out, I'm Chris,
Kyle,
and Julian.
All right, thank you guys so very much. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll catch you guys later.